Dockless e-scooters have become a growing trend in urban cities, especially among younger populations, and have extended over 100 cities across the US and big cities worldwide. Some think these e-scooters are the future of urban transportation. For instance, Bird has been recently valued at $2 billion and Lime at $1.1 billion in less than 2 years. Others, however, believe that they may pose many risks to urban life and should be banned or heavily regulated. Despite significant opposition by local authorities and residents, why have these e-scooter companies grown so much in so little time? Well, these vehicles offer an efficient and affordable option that fits how many Americans get around cities. These scooters only cost a $1 flat fee and 15 cents per minute of use. Populous's analysis of national transportation data found that roughly 45% of trips made in the United States are 3 miles or less, and a large 78% of those trips are made by personal vehicles, like cars. Since scooters are often faster in short distances and have been invested significantly, startups are quickly establishing an extensive network of dockless scooters around neighborhoods. In view of this, more scooters are invading sidewalks and generating new users, many of whom neglect safety while riding. For instance, users are zipping by pedestrians, interfering with traffic flow, and leaving scooters sprawled along walkways. This increasing trend undoubtedly brings new challenges to city planning all across the nation, and Atlanta is no exception. Our city is not known for being bike-friendly, and its citizens don't share a strong micromobility culture, making it a daunting task to host 1,500 invasive new electric vehicles. Aside from the potential benefits these e-scooters may bring, the lack of proper infrastructure, legislation, and anticipation have brought negative externalities to urban life.
So, why do e-scooters need regulation? Safety is a huge concern for users, pedestrians, and car drivers. Users are encouraged to use helmets, but must be over age. These are rarely obeyed or enforced. Also, users constantly face the dilemma of where to ride. Riding on the sidewalks puts them in danger of collision with objects or pedestrians, and riding on roads poses risks of cars and crashes. This brings us to pedestrian and car driver safety concerns. Pedestrians have reported scooter riders zooming by recklessly, in some cases causing accidents. For example, parents walking along the Beltline have reported feeling unsafe when these scooters cruise by them or their kids. On the other hand, e-scooters also disrupt road traffic when users skip traffic lights or go against traffic through bicycle lanes, posing a threat to drivers and cyclists. Current infrastructure is also a big concern. For starters, not all roads in the metro area are even capable of accommodating bicycle use. Therefore, it's even harder to designate paths that e-scooters may use, and road expansion may not be an option. Therefore, e-scooter riders feel unsafe in the streets and instead use sidewalks, most of which were not built to accommodate the safe scooter transit. In the eyes of many, these scooters are also littering the streets of Atlanta. This not only affects the aesthetics of the city, but may also impede pedestrians from transiting sidewalks. For example, a 46-year-old who used a wheelchair for over 20 years was unable to bypass a scooter left on the sidewalk across the street from the Shepherd Center where he volunteers. He said this made him feel like a second-class citizen. Incredibly, these e-scooters have fostered crime, such as harassment, theft, and even shootings, due to not drawing attention and being easy to escape with. For example, a Jimmy John's delivery guy was assaulted by a gang of riders right here on Peachtree Road, and many establishments along the same road have reported thefts. Moreover, hoarding by users and employees is also an issue, and in some cases has led to scooters being clustered in more affluent and predominantly white neighborhoods, discriminating their use to the people who might actually need them the most. Finally, the vandalization of scooters has to be better controlled and penalized to avoid their becoming damaged or obsolete.
Clearly, this unprecedented invasion of e-scooters in urban areas has provided a headache to many city planners. Cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco couldn't handle the chaos and ended up banning e-scooters. Other cities, however, understand the benefits in improving urban transportation in a convenient, affordable, and sustainable way, and are working towards regulating them while promoting their use. The e-scooters themselves are quite cheap. The cost of 100 scooters is equivalent to that of a $50,000 car. They are also easy to use, as licensed patrons simply use an app to locate, unlock, and drive them. And once they're done, users pay for the trip, park them appropriately, and log them for the next user. Not only are they affordable, but they stimulate the economy by creating profitable jobs, earning $5 to $20 per scooter charge with negligible power bill costs. For instance, the average annual cost to fuel a 28 mile per gallon car costs over 60 times more than that to charge a scooter. When comparing a gasoline-powered car to a scooter, the same amount of energy required to drive 1 mile in a standard car can power a scooter for 88 miles, and they produce 63 times less CO2 emissions, making them super sustainable. With scale, Dockless e-scooters can eventually decongest cities with transportation issues, as micromobility devices may be a much more powerful and immediate tool to transform our urban and suburban communities. Luckily, Atlanta sees the benefits that these e-scooters bring, especially in reducing auto dependency, and the city has decided to move forward with regulation instead of ceasing and desisting like other cities. The Office of Mobility Planning under Atlanta City Planning Department influenced the City Council vote to adopt Ordinance 18-01322, which regulates the operations of shareable dockless mobility devices. Scooter companies now have to apply for permits with annual fees of $12,000 to operate 500 scooters and an extra $50 per device up to a maximum of 2,000 scooters, thus generating state revenue. On top of their economic benefit, the city has also started a campaign to educate the public through infographics on safe riding procedures. We believe that these movements together will continue the expansion of this new mobility option while reducing the mistreatment of scooters, decreasing their littering, and protecting the health and safety of the public.
So, after hearing our take on the subject, do you agree with Atlanta's decision to embrace e-scooters with proper regulation? Think about it the next time you see or use an e-scooter. Ultimately, we believe that the implementation of e-scooters is a viable, affordable, and sustainable alternative to address Atlanta's transportation issue, despite the negatives addressed. However, this is just the beginning. And Atlanta city planners and officials need to ensure they are continuing to put suitable policies in place to push this micromobility trend in the right direction and guarantee the city gets the most out of dockless e-scooters.